Hey everybody, welcome back. I just wanted to let you know that for whatever reason, when I was filming this video, some of the footage got corrupted or something. It was really wobbly and shaky. By the time I realized that, I already put everything away, so I couldn't refilm it. But it's only for the first 4 minutes or so I'm just refilming the intro so we can at least get that out of the way. So it's gonna be more like 3 minutes. So sorry if it gives you like some motion sickness or whatnot. You could just get through it. I tried to fix it as best as I could. Very sorry. I just figured I'd give you that warning. But I have not done a video like this in almost 2 years. 2 years this September. As many of you know, this is my second to last video. Out of every video I ever filmed, this is always the hardest video to film. Like, even last time I did this, you gotta charge them up. You gotta make sure they're not boot looping. You gotta make sure they're not exploding. You gotta, it's crazy stuff. And this video is really hard to get prepared for, but I got it to work. I've been working on this for 3 hours now, not even some of them are fully charged. Originally, I wanted to make this an iPhone collection video, so I showed all of my iPhones in a collection like I did last time. But you know, this is my second to last video. I figured, well, I'm just gonna go all out and make it an entire Apple product collection video. So it has all of my Apple products that I currently own. I really hope you enjoy the video. It's a really good one. I hope you watch all of it. It's a fun one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get started with the video. First of all, we got this iPhone 2G. I got it for 90 bucks about 3 years ago. Surprised this one of all of them was the easiest to deal with. It booted up right away as soon as I plugged it in. Doesn't have very many apps on it. Obviously, it's on the latest version, 3.1.3. It's still fun to look around. It still connects to my Wi-Fi and all that. Let's take a picture of the camera there. And it's pretty small. It is crazy that this thing is 17 years old. Once I get back, it's crazy that this is gonna be 19 years old, almost 20 years old when I get back. And no, I'm not gonna make a living with this phone 20 years later. We'll see how that goes. If I get enough, like, let's say 50 likes on this video, maybe. Don't even think about it. So that is the first one in our collection. Fan favorite for sure. Next up, we have this iPhone 3G. I'm hoping it won't die. It is red, so I'm gonna try to plug this in right after this. This phone is funny. I actually got it for 20 bucks. They have like Texas Hold'em on here. I don't know if it actually works. It says copyright 2008 Apple on here. Why is this quality so good for this 2008 game? Single player? What? I've never checked this out before, but maybe I need to. This is the fourth one I bought in my collection. I got it in 2020, I think, for 20 bucks, which was a pretty good deal. It's not in the worst condition. I've seen worse 3Gs. It has some cracks at the bottom, but with the black, you can't really notice it. Next, we got this 3GS, which I actually got 2 years ago in 2022. I don't remember how much I got this for. I want to say 30 bucks, but I can't remember for sure. This one is a better one in my collection. It still does have the crack at the bottom of the ports. This is the oldest phone that I never made a video, like a full-on review for, because I started doing it with the 4 or something like that. I used this to make a video and then use it on this Mac Mini over here because this is the oldest phone that would support this Mac Mini that would still do video. And I tried to make a video on it, and it kind of didn't go well. 3GS, great one in my collection. I love the white. I tried to go for a mix-up because I was like, if we go, obviously the 2G, you go black, white, black, white. I wanted to get silver because I knew I would get the gold for this 5S, and then I already have this SES black anyway, so I was like, okay, I'll get the silver, and then I'll get the gold, and then it goes silver, gold, silver, black, red. Like, I try to mix it up, try to make them not all the same. I hate having like a 4S and a 4 both black. That'd be kind of dumb. It's also easy to be like, oh, that's my 5S, you know. Next up, this is the iPhone 4. This is technically the first one in my collection, but like not really. I bought this SE first, but this phone I actually owned for a little bit longer, but it was like technically my dad's, and my younger brother used it after me. My dad bought this phone for 50 bucks back in, I was in 4th grade, so maybe 2015, 2016, and for 50 bucks. And that was, at the time, it was the oldest phone that wasn't supported on the latest iOS version. So this was on iOS 7, but the 4S still had iOS 9, and iOS 9 was the thing at the time. So, I mean, this phone wasn't the worst thing in the world. I could download any apps I wanted. I mostly wanted an iPod. So I asked my dad, I was like, hey, can I get an iPod? All my friends have an iPod and whatnot. And so my dad's like, oh, I'll just get you a really old iPhone. So that's why we got this iPhone 4 for 50 bucks, and it was pretty good. Geometry Dash, this is where I first got introduced to this game. You know what, I'm actually surprised that I'm able to do this, not even looking at it, the screen really. Gosh dang it. So the iPhone 4, it's been part of my childhood. So many games on this from my childhood, Pappy Jump, Hill Climb Racing. This phone, it's got a place in my heart. I obviously made you living with this phone for 10 years. It's not the greatest video, but you can still go watch it. I made that 4 years ago. But now to the 4S. This is a strange one. I originally bought this when it was a year after I'd done the iPhone 4 Living with a Week video. And I was like, oh, should I do it again with the 4S? I obviously didn't own one, so I had to go on KSL and I bought one. and that's where this came in. At the time, I couldn't get it to activate. I went through the week, did the video. It was slow, it was painful, but you know, it was what it was. And I haven't really touched the phone since then. I got this phone around the same time I got this 2G, just for reference. During my week, I guess I downloaded YouTube, Minecraft, Geometry Dash. The thing about this one is the power button does not actually work, so I have to turn on accessibility mode now, and then lock screen, so it will turn off. But besides that, it's been a fine phone. This actually has decent battery life for a really old phone. All of these other ones die pretty quickly. I think both the 4s are pretty good on battery life. And then we get to the iPhone 5. And this one I also needed to buy for the video. This is my second most viewed video on this channel, was a video on this iPhone 5. I think I bought this for $100, but what's really cool about this is it's on iOS 7. It's not as cool as being on iOS 6, but I still think iOS 7 is pretty cool, especially on the iPhone 5. That's what it was made for. It's a pretty snippy and snappy phone. Again, I lived with this for a week. I made a video on it. It's my second most popular video. I wish it was my most popular video if I was being honest here. My most viewed video doesn't deserve it to be up there. There was not that much time and effort put into that. This phone, great phone. I love that video. It's crazy that video was 2 years ago. Like, I remember filming that like it was yesterday. This iPhone 5C, I think I also bought for $50. I bought it the same day I bought the iPhone 7 here. They're both $50. This is on iOS 10, so basically this could be the reason I keep this on iOS 7 is because I already have a phone that runs iOS 10. Like, what's the point? This iPhone 5C, I'm surprised it's alive right now. It has terrible battery life. This one, I had to wait. All of the other phones were charged except for this one. Like, this one would take forever to charge. And I got all these other ones charged up. I'm like, you better turn on soon so I can make the video. And I finally did. This one, yeah, I got this back in 2020. It was like the third phone in my collection after the SE and the 7. And I actually gave this to my sister to use for a little bit. She used it for like a couple months and then finally gave it back to me. I didn't really use it much until I made the video on it last year. This was actually like 6 months ago. That was a really fun video to go watch. Like, all of my living with the phone for 1 week, they're all pretty good, so maybe go watch them. I have a playlist for them. Got the old control center. This is like, iOS 11 was a pretty major update for what it was, and so this phone, like, the iOS 7 era ended with iOS 10, because iOS 11 was just so different, especially with the iPhone 10 and whatnot. I chose to get it in this blue color. I still think this is one of the best looking phones, even though it's like fingerprinty because it's plastic. It still looks so good. I love looking at this phone. I'm glad that one's in my collection. I really like the blue color of all of them. iPhone 5S, and this one still actually has the iPhone 15 wallpaper from, because I haven't touched this phone since I did a video on it. Again, living with it for a week, I did this video, and I used that wallpaper for a thumbnail. This was actually my grandma's iPhone, and I got this a couple months after the 5C, and I just asked my grandma, because she upgraded to the iPhone 10R, she still uses that phone today. I asked her, oh, can I just have your old phone? She's like, sure. And that's how I got it. So this one was for free. But this video was actually also a really fun video to make. Again, this doesn't seem like that long ago, but I'm like, wow, this is already coming up on a year. I feel like I just made this video yesterday. But yeah, what can I say? I love this gold color. Served my grandma well. It served me well now as my collection. And all of those were in the previous video. Now we're getting to some ones that are a little bit new for my collection. First of all, we got this iPhone 6. Originally, I had 2 iPhone 6s, one silver and one gold. These are these 2 ones right here. Both of the batteries are really bloated. This one doesn't even charge. This one charges, but this one's totally expanding. The display's coming off. This one's not, but this one doesn't turn on. And so we are not gonna charge either of those. These are basically garbage. I don't know why I have them, but they're just sitting here. Also, this iPhone 6 S Plus, the display doesn't work, so if I could switch this display out, this phone should theoretically work fine, but this is my junk pile. Anyway, a couple months ago, in my Leaving for 2 Years video, I mentioned that I have a couple videos planned for when I'm gone. One of those videos is living with the iPhone 6 for a week after 10 years. And I needed obviously a working iPhone 6 because neither of these worked, so I went and bought this iPhone 6. And I made a video on it that's coming out in September at some point. So this one's a newer one in my collection. Battery health is still great. I bought this for, I think, 50 or 60 bucks off of eBay. This iPhone 6 right here that's exploded and whatnot, I actually used. This was my 3rd phone I ever had. I used this in 7th grade a lot and a little bit of 8th grade. Actually, not really, just 7th grade. And then I gave this phone to my brother after he had the iPhone 4, and then I gave him this, and the iPhone 4 just went to my collection, and he used this phone until it died. So that's where that comes from. But the iPhone 6 has always had a special place in my heart. It's 7th grade, that's when everyone started getting a phone. And I was like, oh yeah, this is super cool. I really like this phone. Did me well. At the time, this phone didn't seem like an old phone, because this was in 2019. This phone would have been 5 years old, and that did not seem real. I can't believe it's already 10 years old, but I used this phone for so long, and it has some special memories, just like this iPhone 4 here. And then, another one that's new in my collection is this iPhone 6s in rose gold that's just a regular. I didn't have a 6s that worked. I have two iPhone 6s's. This one works, but the battery is so bad. It's at 8%, and I've been charging it for 3 hours now. Probably not good. And then I have this one that the display doesn't work. So maybe if I could take the battery out of this and put it in here, maybe it would be better, but I don't have the time for that. I needed an iPhone 6s that actually worked in my collection, so I went ahead and went on eBay again. I think this was also 60 bucks, and I got this rose gold iPhone 6s. And surprisingly, I don't know what eBay did, but it actually sent me 3 iPhone 6s's. This one obviously in gold, which I ordered, and then I got this one and the one that's actually filming this video. I got 2 extra iPhone 6s's, and I've been trying to sell them. No one really wants them, but they're just sitting in my collection basically. I don't really need them, so I'm not showing them in the video because I hope to sell this and I hope to sell that phone before I leave, but who knows. But this is the actual phone that I like in my collection. I also made a video that's living with the iPhone 6s for a week, 9 years later technically, but I'm posting it in 2025. So I filmed this video and it's not coming out for a year and a half, so that'll be interesting. It's a really fun video. I really like this video. And the iPhone 6s, it still feels pretty modern because in a way it kind of is. iOS 15 treated this phone super well, and I loved making this video. It was such a great video, and I love the rose gold, so I had to get the rose gold. This is the iPhone SE, the first one in my collection. It was on iOS 14, and I figured I better update all the phones for the next 2 years because I don't want them to crap out on themselves, because that's a big thing. All of the batteries suck right now. Like with this phone, I doubt it even turns on in 2 years. So I want all of these to hopefully be working when I get back, so I'm charging them all up. Obviously, most of these phones have been like not charged for a year, so I feel like they could be fine. I just want to make sure they all charge up, they're not boot looping, whatnot. And even like my iPhone 14 Pro, it's gonna be with the rest of these phones, and it'll be interesting to see what turns on in 2 years. I wanted to update it to iOS 15, make sure it has all the security. I don't want to get in a bug. Same with this iPhone 7, it was also on iOS 14. I just both upgraded them to iOS 15. This iPhone SE started a lot of this collection. It was 2020, 9th grade. I got this phone. I used it as my backup phone when I think I had an iPhone 10R at the time. I used this phone as the backup phone, and it served me pretty well. I still love this phone. I remember first getting this phone. I'd never seen like an iPhone 5 yet at that point. I was like, wow, this phone is just like my iPhone 4, but it's like so much thinner, and it feels small still, and it's like bigger in the display and whatnot. I love this phone. This is what I originally was going to start my channel on, back on my Riker Robin channel. It's like, I have like phone videos I want to do. I want to film a video on iPhone SE. I never ended up doing a video on the iPhone SE, but don't worry, one is coming in 2 years. So this iPhone SE started this collection a lot, so this was my first phone in the collection technically. So now this iPhone 7 has an interesting story. I got it for 50 bucks. The equivalent of buying this phone in 2020 for 50 bucks is the equivalent of buying the iPhone 12 mini for 50 bucks now. You cannot find one for under 100 bucks. Like, that is crazy that I got this for 50 bucks. That was a great deal. And the surprising thing about this was he sold it to me because this display had some like weird glitch issues. And if you were to do like accessibility mode, like this whole bottom half would like glitch out some like green pixels every once in a while and go away. I just ran one of those YouTube videos that fixes screens, and it never showed it again. So I'm like, this was worth 50 bucks. This was a great deal. And I bought this the same time I bought this 5C, and this phone was actually a great phone. I loved the matte finish. It was a great phone. No cracks, no anything. This is probably like one of my best condition phones I have. I have a case for most of these just sitting over there, but they look ugly, so I'm not gonna show them in this video. But this iPhone 7, great phone. And then we get to the iPhone 8, which I bought 2 years ago for 150 bucks. I actually had a 7 Plus. I made a video on it a few years ago. I bought that originally 50 bucks, and then I resold it for 100 bucks. So technically, and then I used that money to buy this because I didn't want a 7 Plus when I already had the 7. Basically, I really only bought this for 50 bucks after reselling the 7 Plus for more money and whatnot, so it was a great deal. And I gotta make a video out of the 7 Plus and whatnot. And this iPhone 8, backup phone for the past 2 years, and I never regretted it. This phone, it has 76% battery health, but it's still a great phone. The battery life is not bad at all. Like, this is the first phone to charge. These two phones were like the first ones to get to 100%, and this one was the first one to boot on, surprisingly. So this phone has been a great phone. Whenever I need like a shot of this phone, I'll record it from this. Whenever I need anything, I'll just use this phone to film. It's been great. I've loved using this iPhone 8. iOS 16 is treated it well. I feel like I haven't missed out on iOS 17 features on this very much, and it's been a great backup phone still. I use it basically every day. The display is a little bit scratched up, even has a crack right here that goes here, but I don't know, it's never bothered me. I love that it has wireless charging. I love that it's red. I love the red color. And eventually when I buy an iPhone SE2 and the SE3, the red color has been taken now, so I gotta buy a black or white one for those ones. It's probably gonna be a white iPhone SE eventually. For my color pattern, that one might be next. And then we get to the monster, the iPhone 14 Pro, which is actually my daily driver. Made a video on it. Also, this phone has been great. I would be filming with it, but I needed it to be in this video, so we're using an iPhone 6S, surprisingly. This phone has been a great phone. I've loved this phone. I don't regret anything about it. There's only 3 things that annoy me about this phone, and that's that it has lightning, the battery's a little bad, but it's okay for most days, and then it's not getting any of the Apple Intelligence features. So that's kind of sad. But hey, in 2 years, I might be ready for an upgrade because this phone will be 4 years old once I get back, so that is crazy. That is my collection. My brother's using an iPhone XR. One of my sisters is using an iPhone 10. Once they upgrade, I'm gonna add those to my collection. But basically, what's next for my collection? Maybe a white iPhone SE2, a 12 mini, I think that's what I'm looking at next, or an iPhone 11. We'll see where it goes, and probably won't be any of those until after I get back. I think my collection is pretty good where it's at now on iPhones. And as we're just going through all my Apple products, again, these are all my broken ones. This is an iPhone SE that I don't know the password to, so these don't work basically. For them trying to sell that one works, I guess. And then, as we move over here, we got a HomePod. Still use that almost every day. The GoPro's not an Apple product, but I tried to film with today's video with it, but it didn't work. I got Apples. I don't know why I have the Apple stickers. Here's an iPod Touch in my collection that I have yet to open. I bought this 2 years ago. I have not touched it. If you've seen my most popular video, it is in that video. Basically, this is the last iPod Touch, 7th generation. I bought it as soon as they were discontinuing it. I was like, man, this could make a great video like 10, 15 years from now. They'd be like, the last unsealed iPod Touch, 7th generation. So maybe this will get unboxed in like 10 years. So that's been in my collection. So that's a little Easter egg. You guys haven't seen that in a while. But again, this was my most popular video, which is surprising. And then I got the 1st generation AirPods. I got my AirPods Pro that I use now, and then I got my MacBook, which I edit all of my videos on. Woo woo. It's the M1 Pro, 16-inch. Love this computer. Other Macs I have this Mac video, made a video on that too. And also, I have this MacBook, which hasn't been working, but I haven't sold it, so it's just been sitting in my room, collecting dust. And the last Apple product, I kind of forgot to mention, Apple Watch. It blends in because I always wear a watch regardless, and I thought Apple Watch is perfect for this. Series 7, been a great watch for me. I hate watchOS 10, but what are you gonna do? watchOS 11 is just gonna be crazier. So, with that said, I think these are all of my Apple products. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I think this is gonna be my favorite video. We got one more video for you coming out next week. It'll be a fun video. It won't be as crazy as this one, so this one is my favorite one. This one I think is a better video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And peace out.